Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to Bets and Buds. We're the Buds helping you cash your bets. I am Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting into the end of the dog days of summer.
Oh, yeah.
Wrapping up this baseball shit that we have to keep talking about. Getting into the NFL season here. College season, we're only like 10 days away from kickoff of college football.
Oh, yeah.
About 26 days away from the start of NFL season. Baby, let's get going and let's get it right, brother. Let's let it ride.
Man, I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
This has been about, even with the Olympics and everything going on this summer. This
That
just
helped.
seems like the driest summer of all time.
You know what? It helped. The Olympics definitely helped get me through a little bit of that shit. Especially exciting. Like shout out to Stephen Curry with the big Steph Curry.
The men and women's U.S.
Oh yeah, they both
team.
pulled it off. Got gold. Hey, Steph Curry. Like women, like they held on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, that
Steph
was
Curry
crazy.
put them to sleep, baby. That's gonna be one of the epic memes of all time, right there.
Like you told me about that women's ending. I went back and watched it. That was a crazy.
That was crazy,
ending,
man.
Like,
That was
she
crazy.
just
like 1 foot, like half a foot back, We got a tie game going overtime and see what happens. But you know what? Shout out gold for both men and women against France, the hosting country. So you know what? Hey,
So U.S. ended up with 129 total medals.
Yep.
40
Lead
gold,
overall.
which tied with China, but since they won the most medals overall, they get the number one podium.
we win again.
We win again. USA.
USA. Let's
So yeah,
go.
USA had a great Olympics, 129 medals.
Yes,
and then
yes.
in 4 years, it's going to be in LA. So
And breakdancing was a one and done. Breakdancing was a one.
thank God. That was terrible.
No more kangaroo hops and sideway worms and whatever the fuck that shit
Ozzy
was.
Man, do you know who Ozzy Man is at
No,
all? He's a YouTuber from Australia, and he did a video on the Australian breakdancer. And actually, when he talks over it, because he's Australian, it kind of makes it a little funny.
Really? I'm sure. I'm sure. You know what? It was hard to not make that shit funny. Quite honestly,
that was brutal.
Like you had to really, if you do anything like on the internet or as a commentary wise, you couldn't make that shit funny. You need to stop doing what the
Right.
hell you're doing because that was easy to make fun of that shit. And because actually, I heard there's actually a little controversy about that as far as like there was some connection and inside that there were some people that she went against in Australia that were way better breakdancers.
Yeah, I
than her.
watched the finals, the Australian finals,
Yeah.
and for her to make it, and yeah, she was definitely the worst.
Yeah,
dancer on
exactly. I
that
mean,
stage.
so like for her to make that, is that like one of those like American Idol fades, like when they know somebody's really shitty and they put you on TV on purpose?
No, because supposedly, now I've just seen this on X, and it's been trending all day long. The way it works, there's no really break dancing committee per se. So the IOC got in touch with her for the Australian part of it, and she instilled her husband as one of the judges.
Yeah, that's
or
what I
the
mean.
Coaches. And
That's what I mean by there being a little bit of controversy on it because there was some inside track on as
Yeah,
far as
definitely.
how she got selected.
It's
to make it
definitely.
that far and get a free trip to Paris and whatever else.
The Australian citizens wanted an investigation into it.
Yeah.
So basically that's what's going on
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
So there's
Exactly.
going to be more fallout from
Oh
the
yeah,
breakdancing.
definitely. So, but either way, it was a one and done. We won't see that shit again. So,
No, good,
That's
good.
it. Thank God.
So yeah, like I said, we come back to LA next year, and it'll be
Yeah.
the first time it's been here since
Yeah,
Atlanta of 96.
2028.
So
Yep, 2028.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Absolutely. All right, so I guess let's go and dive into some Cardinals baseball and get that out of the way.
Okay,
because it's
so
been a miserable existence right now.
The
for us
Cardinals,
fans.
after losing yesterday, they're 60-60 on the season. So since the All-Star break, they've lost 14 games out of the 24. They're 10-14. Their run differential is god-awful,
It's
minus
horrible.
56. They actually had gotten it into the 20s at one point.
It is miserable. It is,
But
absolutely
it's just
miserable.
bad again. They're 7.5 games behind the Brewers. They're 7 games behind the top wild card leader.
Yeah.
3.5 behind the last spot. I mean, the Giants have caught them.
Yeah.
The Pirates are a game behind. The Mets are still ahead of you.
Yeah.
Like, this team is done.
Diamondbacks are on a roll right now. They're
Oh,
playing some
San
hot fire
Diego
baseball.
and the Diamondbacks
Yes,
are
I mean,
just
like
rolling.
beating either one of those teams. I mean, I just don't see it happening. But the Cardinals always somehow, some way give us some devil magic. To
Nah, I don't think this team's got the devil magic.
I don't see it either. But who knows?
Like-
I mean. Can Arenado and Goldschmidt really be this bad
No.
for the entire season?
Oh, yeah,
Can
no, they can. They can.
Yeah,
They're done.
Apparently,
They're
yes.
done.
But I mean, like I said, I've waved this flag for many weeks now, saying they should have traded Goldschmidt's ass last year. But again, I'm not going to keep beating that drum.
No, you're totally right about that because, well, I mean, there's been speculation about what's it going to cost to bring him back next year.
Oh,
and
my
you
God.
don't bring him back.
No, you don't bring him back. You put Jordan Walker at first base. Let him to stop worrying about being an outfielder,
right,
and then go from there. Or you put him at third, his natural position. I don't know how slick he is around the third base bag, but I think I'd see him more projected as a first baseman.
Well, I don't think. I think we're locked into that Arenado contract now, aren't we? Because he had a chance to opt out last year.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, they can still move him. They can still.
Who would want him?
But I mean, there's a lot of people that still can feel like, okay, get him out of a bad baseball situation.
$35 million.
Yeah,
I don't know that anybody's trading for that.
I mean, you got to see. I mean, like teams. I mean, you got to I haven't looked much into baseball this season as far as like what teams that got the big money payroll. Because I mean, you can see somebody like the Dodgers. You can see somebody.
Yeah,
like
I mean, the Dodgers
Yankees.
could shed some salary.
The people I mean, they don't even care about shedding salary. They'll pay that luxury tax and say, "Fuck it, I'm gone."
Well, I mean, they got to move some. They've already got somebody at third base, don't they? Like,
who's at third base?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know any of the Dodgers players outside of Mookie Betts.
Yeah, so they got Mookie Betts. They got Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani.
Is it what's the guy's name? It's no Trey Turner's.
Is it Seager? No, Trey Turner's there now.
Yeah, Trey Turner's there.
Did Seager sign there too?
No, Seager's with the. Where's Seager at? Because Seager was with somebody else because he fucked us up.
Oh, he's still at Texas.
I think he's with the Rangers. Yeah, because he fucked us up a couple weeks ago with somebody.
Well, anyway, this Cardinals team is done.
Yes,
they are actually plus 1,600 to win the division right now. The Brewers are minus 1,400 to win the division. Yeah, so you can tell where it's going.
It's pretty much a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. The Cardinals do not have it. The pitching's not there.
The pitching's not there. And the overall team is not there.
This is the funny thing. They're actually like 22 and 15 in one-run games. Mm-hmm. So they can win the run-one games because their bullpen is really has been awesome.
Yeah.
But the team can't hit.
Yeah, they just cannot hit. They cannot hit. I mean, they leave. I mean, the runners on base. I mean, if we can look at that stat, I mean, that's got to be one of the worst in the majors.
It is bad. Since what was it? The beginning, or since the All-Star break, 2 for 17 with the bases loaded. And Tommy Pham was one of the hits. So that was his grand slam when he first came to the club. So you just can't have that.
Yeah, you can't have that. I mean, that's a recipe for losing baseball.
The starting pitching's bad. Sonny Gray is really taking a regression.
9 home runs in the last 5 starts.
Yeah, it's 9 home runs. He's given up 17 home runs in 130 innings so far. So that's not good.
Strikeouts were looking good, but now they're bad on the ball, man. I mean, they're sending it out the park, and that's not a pretty thing.
No, it's not. It is not. So that's all I got on the card. They're done. They are so done. They're done.
Well, let's dive into a little bit of Blues action here, Bob, because Blues season, they're going into camp here soon, and we've had some noise rumbling out here.
So we hadn't heard anything on any hockey front in a while in the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. That's how it gets in the summertime.
Right.
But the Blues surprised everybody yesterday morning by offering sheet 2 guys from the Edmonton Oilers. Mm-hmm. Dylan Holloway, who's a winger, and Philip Broberg, who is a left-handed defenseman.
Okay.
So they gave them 2-year they offered them 2-year contracts each. Dylan Holloway 2.9 and Broberg is 4.8.
Nice.
Which that's about $8 million.
I think the Edmonton still can match, right?
They have 1 week to match. Okay. So by next Tuesday they have to match. So if they do match, the Blues would lose a 2nd-round pick for Broberg, and a 3rd-round pick for Holloway. That's how it is. You lose draft picks.
Gotcha.
That's how it works. If you offer somebody and the team declines the match, you've got to get a draft pick.
And I think I heard they made a play for somebody's draft pick though too as well to get.
Well, what they had to do, they made a trade with Pittsburgh that morning to acquire their own draft pick back that they had traded for Kevin in the Kevin Hayes deal.
Gotcha.
Because you have to have your own draft pick.
Yeah.
To be able to give away for compensation.
Yes, that's correct.
It can't be somebody other team's draft pick. It has to be your own draft pick.
Okay.
So with that, the Oilers are already about $400,000 over the cap. So the cap this year is $88 million. Mm-hmm. They're already over the cap. Now they do have a couple of things they could do here. The way the NHL works is they could actually match both of these offers and go over the cap by 10%.
Okay.
So they could go over the cap by almost $9 million. But they have to be cap compliant by the beginning of the season.
Gotcha.
So that means moving somebody.
Gotcha.
Like, say if they match both of these, they would have to move somebody like Draisaitl or multiple players to get it back
under the cap. Yeah. And is the juice worth the squeeze on that?
These are young players. They're young players. They're both under 23 and younger. Like, this is exactly what the Blues are looking for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, they just played through the playoffs with an Edmonton Oilers team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals and come up a game short.
Yeah, so they got the Cup experience.
They've got experience.
Yes.
They're young. They both have talent. They're both former first-round draft picks. They both have talent.
Nice. Yeah.
So the thing is, the Oilers, also, they could, Evander Kane might have to have wrist surgery, or he did have wrist surgery, and they could actually put his almost $6 million on the long-term injury reserve and probably sign one of these guys.
Yeah.
I doubt they could match for both. So the Blues are getting one of these.
They're going to get one of them.
They're getting one of these two, if not both of them.
Nice. So we'll see what happens in the training camp as they get ready to start on ice here. How many month? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks, something like that?
But yeah, I'll be, come next Tuesday. By the time we shoot next time, we'll know if the Blues have these players or not.
All right, nice. That's good. That's good to hear. So hockey news is coming. Let's go Blues.
Yes, go Blues. Go Blues. Yeah, because I mean, once football starts, hockey's just right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, hockey's right around the corner. I don't start paying attention to it until after we get into January, just because football season. It's hard for me to dive into hockey. The NHL, when I used to be a gamer back in the day, the NHL games always kept me up on top of the hockey because hockey is one of the most fun games to play.
Well, that's the thing with baseball. Like once football starts, like baseball's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, especially once we get when we don't have a postseason chance, you know what? Kiss off. I'm cool. I'm good with you. All right. So now speaking of football, let's dive into the National Football League.
Let's do it.
All right.
The NFC South.
All right, but before we dive into NFC South, we do have a little bit of news that's come out today. So J.J. McCarthy is out for the season with a torn meniscus, and they had to do surgery. So J.J. McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings, promising rookie to look very good in the playoff game.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, so we've got Sam Darnold all season long.
Did
J.J.
it happen
McCarthy
in practice?
No, it happened, I think, during the preseason game.
Really?
Yeah, at some point in the preseason game, they had a meniscus tear. They thought it might be a little less serious. Then when they looked into it a little bit more, I guess surgeon got in there and said, you know what, let's do a full repair for the long-term future of his career. Because the thing is with meniscus, once you remove it, you can't put it back.
Right.
And it's gone. And so that means your knee health is going to be compromised for the rest of your pro career. Him being a young quarterback, they tried to do a repair on it, and the repair was successful. That means it's going to keep him out the rest.
So
that keeps him out the rest of the year. So that means we got a whole year of Sam Darnold, so we don't have to worry about when J.J. McCarthy's going to come in. It's going to be Sam Darnold. Let's see, he has the best receiving core he's ever had in his life as a quarterback. He has a great offensive coordinator. Good defensive offensive line. So let's see. This is your last chance, Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's a shame. I hate to hear that, though.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. It sucks for a young player there, but I mean, you got to look at his future going forward. But so Sam Darnold, good for you. I mean, last chance.
Sam Darnold, this is your chance to cash in.
This is your last chance, brother. Because it was only a 1-year contract. I think like $10 million. So this is your chance to go ahead and make some magic happen and then save your fucking career, brother.
It could
give you a chance to show that you're a starter. So so that was one news.
Oh, that sucks. I hate to hear that.
Yeah. Also, two other news that Tavon Austin, the number 8 overall pick for the St. Louis Rams. Actually announced his retirement today.
Oh, so, was he still in the league?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he played last year. I don't know if he played much last year, but this guy sit out, see if they got a chance to get him the job.
See
he
if
said,
okay,
probably not going to pick up anybody. Like, nobody's going to pick him up at this point. So, a number 8 overall pick for the Rams.
He had a decent career.
Yeah, he had a decent career. I mean, they put together like a top 5 highlights on Good Morning Football with him to show them. I mean, he had some explosive plays. He was an electrifying college player. I mean, he was unbelievable. Rushed for 328 yards, I think, against Oklahoma in a game as a running back.
Mike Martz pick.
No, I think that was Jeff Fisher.
Was it Jeff?
Yeah, that was Jeff.
Mike Martz was
long gone at that point. That was Jeff Fisher.
You're right.
But that was also a part of those things of so when the Rams kind of. Like remember when they had a chance to draft Jake Matthews over Greg Robinson? They went. I think it was was it Jason? What's the guy's name? Jason Smith. It was Jason Smith.
Oh yeah, Jason Robinson. Smith.
Yeah, so it was
they went with Smith.
And over Jake Matthews, who is still starting at left tackle for the Falcons today. I think Greg Robinson and Jason Smith are both out of the league now.
Yeah.
And been out of the league for a long time.
Smith didn't last very long at all.
Well, that shows you that the Rams were trying to get out of there. But they weren't stupid when they did it because they made sure they drafted a guy like Tavon Austin. Because, again, explosive player, but not a number 8 overall pick in the NFL draft when you're trying to have a franchise explosive changing, your cornerstone move. That's just not the guy you bring in.
He was a tiny guy.
Yeah, at number 8 overall, I mean, that's just a high reach. But, again, makes the fans think, oh, you're trying to make something exciting happen, blah, 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 all that type of shit. But we all knew they were.
Oh, we could revisit that whole thing.
Yeah, we all knew they were planning on going to L.A. So those were some of the off-the-field news there. Also, Marquise Hollywood Brown, he also suffered a shoulder injury there.
Yeah.
Shoulder dislocation there, so he's out for about 4 to 6 weeks. Jameer Gibbs has a hamstring pull from the Detroit Lions. So he's out probably about the next 3 to 4 weeks or so. So let's see what happens there. Hamstrings are always tricky, so you never know what happens.
They lost a backup offensive lineman for the season, too.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple of injuries that have gone on like that, but like those are some of the bigger names that have kind of gone down up to this point that we'll keep an eye on injury-wise going into the season.
Oh, it's going to happen. There's a big name coming.
It's inevitable. It is actually absolutely inevitable. So, but this week we're on the NFC South. So the NFC South, we got 3 divisions left and 3 weeks out to the start of the season here. So we got the NFC South here. So the first team I have here that's leading off the division is the favorites, is the Falcons.
Yeah, it's got to be the Falcons. Okay, Falcons. Just a quick thing about this division. So 2 years ago, this division got won at 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. This year, last year, the division got won at 9 and 8. Okay. Like this is, I don't see it getting any better than that again.
It is probably and as you see as you hear my projected records. Of the season, you're pretty much right in that ballpark here.
So Falcons are favored.
The Falcons are favored at minus 120 for the division. Minus 120 through FanDuel for the division. The over/under, they're 9.5 wins, with over being minus 134, under being at plus 110. Okay. So either way, they kind of leading that way of going them hitting over or under. But the Falcons are going there. Here's the thing with the Falcons, though. So, like, how well is Kirk Cousins going to be able to bounce back from that Achilles injury at 39 years old? And then Michael Penix looked really good in his first start there. But, is he going to be able to jump into place if something were to happen to Kirk Cousins? But the projection is Kirk Cousins being the starter from day one. So that's number one. My other big issue with the Falcons also is the defense. I don't really think they addressed the defense the way that they were supposed to during the offseason because that Penix...
Well, because you took Michael Penix Jr.
Which I understand the Penix pick. But in my opinion, and many of the other football experts, you'll think about that Byron Murphy out of Texas should have been your number 1 pick at that number 8 pick. Because right now in Seattle, he's looking like a monster up there in Seattle, and their front four is so irrelevant. I mean, as far as
they don't get to
the quarterback. They don't get to the quarterback. They don't really stop the run, and so that's a tough combination when you're talking about trying to win football games in National Football League, especially over a 17-game season.
It's going to have to be an explosive offense.
Yes,
and it really does come down to Kirk Cousins.
Yes,
because you've ridden with Ritter and.
Those guys were. I think both of those guys are out of the NFL right now. You got Ritter and Mariota. Those guys are out of the NFL pretty much. Mariota's as a backup with the Commanders, right.
But you've got a legitimate quarterback now. Yes, he's coming off the Achilles injury, but he's always been a tough enough guy.
Cousins got the arm talent. He had a great season going last year. So let's just see what happens. Little chip on his shoulder because he's got that rookie quarterback behind him.
To me, I could see him being like the old Drew Brees after when he hurt himself, and he was like almost the Dan Marino type, where he's just back there slinging.
Very possibly. So the projected record that I have actually for the Falcons, I really didn't, as I was going through their schedule, looking all the way through it, actually I've been 7-10.
7-10.
7-10. So they don't hit that over/under on that one under my book from my projected record. So 7-10.
So they're not winning the division in your eyes.
No. Which leads to my next team, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, who've won the division 3 years in a row.
Yeah, so they the Buccaneers, who are at plus 310 to win the division. Over/under is 7.5 win total. Over is at minus 150. Under is at plus 122.
Okay.
So the Bucs actually, like I said, they won the division last year. Got a playoff win against the Eagles.
They did against the Eagles.
Going into the season there. So they're bringing a lot back on offense. They brought back Baker Mayfield. They got Chris Godwin back. They brought Mike Evans back.
Signed Evans back. But the thing is, they lost Dave Canales, their offensive coordinator.
Yes.
They lost their offensive coordinator.
Which, if anybody looks at the Eagles team last year, that's a big thing to lose. Like, most people that don't pay attention to football don't realize how much losing those guys in those meeting rooms is. Like, when you lose those coordinators, they have an intricate role, a lot more than what the head coach does. Head coach is more of a delegator than he is like actually running those.
Baker got paid, Evans got paid, Godwin got paid. Yep. They brought these guys back, but you've lost your OC, and you've got probably one of the tougher schedules.
And not only that, they actually have one of the worst running games in the NFL.
Yeah,
too,
it's not bad.
Year. Their running game was ranked in the bottom half. I think
they were like bad because White gets his yards per carry is like 3.5.
I think they were like 23rd and 24th in the league in rushing last year. So they were really down as far as rushing the ball. If their running game could improve any, that would help out a lot. They also on defense they lost Carlton Davis to the Lions. and they also lost Devin White to the Eagles. So we just got to see going forward there, like how that's going to really make that work. As far as big picture wise, like as far as how their defense is going to transfer into this next season, because they had a more bend don't break defense last year with a lot of veteran guys on it. So let's kind of see what happens from there. But overall, my projection of the Buccaneers was actually 8-9.
8-9.
8-9. 8-9. That's actually what happened.
Man, I can't wait to see the Saints.
Yeah. I can, because I don't really see much happening with the fucking Saints.
No, I don't either. That kind of gets basically you're saying right now, before we even get to the Saints or Panthers, 8-9 is going to win that division
8-9 is going to probably win that division this year, man.
2 out of the last 3, that'd be crazy.
I mean, but this is projected to be probably the worst division in the NFL at this point. So, I mean, honestly, and that's usually the way it goes when you have those type of divisions like that. So with the Saints, my biggest question with the Saints is they're
in cap hell.
They're at cap hell number 1. They've been kicking the can down the road, and that's finally caught up to them. So plus 380 is what they are to win the division. Over/under's at 7.5 games. The over is at minus 130. The under is at plus 106. All right. So with the Saints, my biggest question with them is Derek Carr still a starting quarterback in the NFL? My opinion, no. I think his time has passed, injuries-wise, bad situations as far as team-wise, setups, everything else. Plus, he's also playing with Dennis Allen. And Dennis Allen is actually one of the – when you look at Dennis Allen, like as a coach overall, his win-loss record, he probably any other organization might have been fired a year or two ago, honestly. And then how much does Alvin Kamara have left in the tank?
That's what I have that down right here. I think this is Kamara's last gasp.
Yeah,
he'll probably move on from the Saints and at some time be a backup, third down guy.
Change the pace back with somebody.
He'll catch on
he's
somewhere.
He's gotten paid.
Yeah, he's gotten paid. Maybe he wants that ring.
Yeah, maybe go ring chase or do something, whatever.
I mean, to me, this is like. This is like the Cardinals of football right here, the Saints.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just a middling team.
It's just a middling team. It's just a so-so team.
Yeah, it's just a middling team.
You've got talent in certain spots, but just not enough.
It's really the MO, and Dennis Allen is a defensive guy. So the MO really has been, can the defense be strong enough to keep them in the games? Right. They were 8th in total points last year per game. And can they keep them in games as much? Because that's really what's kept these Saints even respectable amongst football conversations. So my projected win total for them was actually 6-11.
Okay, 6-11.
6-11.
They really didn't change that offense up either, with any personnel or anything like that.
No, I mean there wasn't a whole lot of offensive change. I mean, like I said again, like Dennis Allen is not really somebody you want to write home about being like a good coach, is a game changer.
But with the way you're setting this up, I mean, a couple of games here, a couple of games there. You're right there. Because if you're saying 8-9 could win this division,
I mean, it could swing into it. Definitely, could definitely swing into it. So the next up I got is the Panthers. The Panthers are at plus 1,000 for the division.
Okay, I've got it at plus 1,100.
You got plus 1,100. I got FanDuel had them at plus 1,000. Okay. So over/under win total was at 5.5. The over was minus 124. The under was at plus 102. So with the Panthers, there's a lot to really kind of like chomp into with them because they definitely improved the offensive line. They brought in Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh, drafted Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. He looks like he could be a monster. And then they still got Adam Thielen there back in the game. And then Jonathan Brooks, I think, out of Oregon.
Yeah, this is their second round rookie coming in. Yes. He's coming off an ACL injury. But he's definitely got...
He's looked good because I've already heard them have whispers about moving on from Miles Sanders already.
This is the crazy thing. Their ownership situation is it's a disaster. This is their third coach in 3 seasons.
I heard that Tepper's talking about taking a step back this year, not being as involved. You got Dan Morgan up there now. So, I mean, you're not going to intimidate and scare Dan Morgan at this point. I mean, you're dude, fuck you, fire me. At this point.
Yeah, they definitely brought in some offensive help with the 2 wide receivers. They vowed to run the ball more. I mean, you've got Brooks. I hope that works out for him.
Miles Sanders.
You've still got Miles Sanders because you signed him to a decent contract. Yeah. And you still got Chuba.
Yeah,
Chubba, baby. Don't forget about Chubba.
Yeah, you still got Chubba Chuba.
Don't forget about Chubba.
Chubba Chuba.
Yeah, Chubba Chuba. No, yeah, Chuba's down there, and he He almost put together a 1,000-yard season last year and had decent yards per touch. And, He's not the most efficient.
He's not a game breaker, but I mean, you see what happens though. And also, basically, let's see how Bryce Young progresses in this next season. I mean, this is the second season. He's going to have more time. There's no way the offense can get any worse than what they were last year. There's no way it could be any worse.
They were bad. You didn't want anything on the Panthers.
No, nothing at all. And the other thing is going to be, let's see the defense. The defense didn't do them any favors either. They ranked 29th in points per game last year, and they lost a lot. But I mean, did they really lose being ranked 29th last year?
Probably not so much. They brought in a couple of guys.
I mean, they brought in a couple of guys. But I mean, they lost Jeremy Chin. They lost Jeremy Chin. They lost Brian Burns. I mean, so those guys were some of their big leaders.
They did bring in Chase Young.
Yeah, they did. Well, no, that's the Saints.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was the Saints. Same right division, wrong team. But yeah, but they lost a lot of those players, but can they really be determined as a loss? So the Panthers actually could be a sneaky bet. As far as I got them going through, my projected record for them is 4-13.
4-13.
4-13. Yes, that's a projected record I have them at this year. But they could be a sneaky couple
that's
games
the thing,
here and there.
Nobody thought Texans were going to do it.
Exactly. Nobody thought they were going to be worth the fuck. So again, they have some of the pieces in there if they get things going the right way. Because if you look at most games in the NFL, quite honestly, it really boils down to a lot of times three plays that changes it and decides from winning to losing between good and bad teams. It really does.
And it could be little plays too, like super tiny plays.
And with this kickoff change that's going on right now, I mean that's going to be huge. I mean, we still don't know what's going to happen.
I haven't talked to you about this one really. Mm-hmm. So this fourth quarter onside kick crap. What is going on there? So
in the last 5 minutes of the game, you can only kick an onside kick if you declare it, because the way they set the kickoff off now, you have to be lined up
because you're 5 feet away or 5 yards away, 10 yards away.
So what I believe is going to happen is they will line up like a traditional kickoff from the same yardage, same return team yardage, and they basically they know. Okay,
so the formate, like they said, you could have heavy formations.
Yes. Which is something they took away before that. So, which I do like that aspect of it, because now you can load it up. So basically what Bobby's saying here is at one point you had to, so as of a couple of years ago, I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, they made it to where they took it away. Used to be you can line up 8 guys on one side,
3 on the other,
have two go on the other side, and then your kicker. And then they made it to where they had to balance so you couldn't load up those sides, because usually the first wall of guys is just to knock the shit out of the first guys trying to catch the ball, and then the second wave of guys are going to get the ball. So they brought that back, I believe, in the onside kick now, which will make that at least a little bit more of an option to do. The only thing that sucks about it is it takes away the surprise factor of doing the surprise.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about it. Put it to where you don't have to do it, or you can't do it until the fourth quarter. Right. I totally understand that, because that's when you're usually doing it anyway.
But I mean, but with the Saints that won that Super Bowl against the Colts, if they had not done that surprise, so that's the only part that sucks, because that's a surprise strategy thing. Because that's the thing about football, is a 3-element game: offense, defense, special teams. And so when you take certain elements out of special teams, which I'm glad, because hey. You know what? If they didn't go this route with the kickoff, they might have got rid of the shit all the way together.
Right.
And that's going to be a lot of jobs gone for a lot of players, a lot of jobs gone for coaches, everything else. Special teams. And then just special team factor of the game being eliminated, which nobody really wants to see that, because there's been games that have been won. Devin Hester was just inducted into the Hall of Fame as the greatest returner of all time. Would he been in the Hall of Fame with some of the kickoff and punt return rules of this day?
Packers Super Bowl back in the 90s when they beat the Patriots.
Desmond Howard. It was not Brett Favre. It was not. Brett Favre. It was not Brett Favre who was the MVP. It was either Reggie White or it was going to be Desmond Howard. And Desmond Howard was Super Bowl MVP of that Super Bowl. So all you Brett Favre fans, fuck off. He did not become the Super Bowl MVP. Again, I'm not going to go into my Brett Favre soapbox about why he's not the greatest quarterback that you ever seen wearing Wrangler jeans. He had, there's a whole lot of things with Brett Favre, like most interception leader, a lot of fucking fumbles, the whole nine. So either way, here's here nor there. We want to keep special teams in football because there's a lot of guys that work their ass off to play this game. Never did those positions before in life, but they love the game enough to keep playing those positions. They really get no glory until the glory comes.
Yep. But
that's
Dave,
the only position they can play.
But Dave,
exactly. That's the only position they're gonna keep in the NFL.
3 points will always be 3 points.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that covers the NFC South here. So we got 2 divisions left with 2 weeks left, almost out of the season.
Oh yeah,
we got the Yeah, but as next time when we see you guys, we got the AFC West coming in, and then the NFC West we'll wrap up with.
I'll be bringing in the trophy here shortly, show it off.
We'll dive into a little bit of maybe some fantasy football draft analysis and strategies and things you want to go into from there. So, we're rolling along here, brother. It's coming.
Yeah. It's going to be an exciting time.
We finally made it. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, add to the comments section. Shout out to Director Dave for keeping us up on the ones and twos. True on the track for blessing us with those beats. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
See you next week.
Peace.